Now give the floor to His Excellency Munir Akram, President of the Economic and Social Council.
Mr. President of the General Assembly, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be able to join the President of the General Assembly in this joint meeting. This event is a testament of the close cooperation we have maintained and to our shared determination to ensure that the General Assembly and ECOSOC complement and reinforce each other's work during these uncertain times. Today, the United Nations is challenged to act in unprecedented ways by an unprecedented crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to unfold as a health, social, economic, and humanitarian crisis. It has disproportionately affected the poorest and most vulnerable peoples and countries. It has pushed around 100 million people into extreme poverty and resulted in the loss of millions of jobs around the world. The General Assembly held an important special session on the response to COVID-19 in December. It called for international solidarity, which will be carried forward in the ECOSOC and the HLPF under the annual theme of achieving an inclusive and sustainable recovery from COVID-19 that puts the world on track to realize the SDGs. The vaccine distribution will be the first test of our solidarity. ECOSOC will also reinforce the work of the General Assembly regarding the operational activities of the UN Development System. In December, the General Assembly adopted the resolution on the quadrennial Comprehensive Policy Review, the QCPR, of the UN system operational activities, with a new focus on the role of the UN system in ensuring that no one is left behind. The ECOSOC's operational activities segment will convene dialogues with the UN system executives, regional actors, and country-level representatives to ensure that the UN system is on track to respond to the vision and recommendations of the QCPR. Distinguished colleagues, ECOSOC needs to keep a focus on the values of the United Nations and on building the better world envisioned by the UN Charter. We must therefore address the scourge of racism and inequality, to leave no one behind as we respond to the pandemic and its impact and embark in our journey towards the SDGs. On 18 February next month, I will convene a special meeting at ministerial level on, I quote, reimagining equality, eliminating racism, xenophobia, and discrimination for all in the decade of action for the SDGs, unquote. The Council will explore the links between structural racism, inequalities, and the SDGs. The ECOSOC Forum on Science and Technology, which will come next, in May, and its segments and forums will address ways to mobilize technologies and efforts from all stakeholders to recover better from the pandemic. The pandemic is expected to reverse development gains in the LDCs. it is projected already that a large proportion of the world's poor are in LDCs. I'm working with the President of the Assembly to prepare a joint thematic event on accelerated implementation of the 2030 agenda in the LDCs so as to leave no one behind in the context of the COVID-19 recovery. This will be held on 18 June 2021. The joint event offers a unique platform to build common ground on how to accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda in the LDCs during the decade of action, while addressing the devastating impacts of COVID-19. Participants will be invited to make specific proposals and recommendations in support of the LDCs. We see this joint thematic event as a robust input to the preparatory committee meeting to the 5th Conference on LDCs in July 2021 and to the global policy outcomes of the conference early next year. The 2021 ECOSOC Financing for Development Forum, which will be held on 12th to 15th April, will be especially critical this year. It is vital to agree on both short-term and longer-term actions to enable a recovery from the COVID health and economic crisis. The General Assembly's resolution on financing for development has called for a special high-level segment of the FFD Forum to discuss concrete steps towards a sustainable, inclusive, and resilient recovery from the economic downturn caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In consultation with the President of the General Assembly, it is my intention to invite heads of state and government to participate in this segment of the FFD. I have appointed the permanent representatives of the Netherlands and Fiji to act as co-facilitators of the outcome document of the FFD Forum, which will be an important document this year. I am confident that they will steer us towards an ambitious and action-oriented outcome to be adopted in the ECOSOC. I wish to underscore the importance also of the forthcoming General Assembly review of the ECOSOC and the HLPF under the facilitation of His Excellency Alexander Marschik, Permanent Representative of Austria, and His Excellency Sheikh Niang, Permanent Representative of Senegal. The HLPF plays a central role in the follow-up and review of the 2030 Agenda, notably through the thematic reviews of the SDGs and its voluntary national reviews. ECOSOC is the charter body dedicated entirely to development. It has critical mandates for policy guidance and dialogue, as well as for coordinating the work of the UN economic and social system of operational activities and guidance to such operational activities. This year, I'm doing my utmost to ensure that the HLPF will reach agreement on some concrete actions and initiatives, including on sustainable infrastructure investment, science and technology, as well as SDG financing. Distinguished colleagues, Excellencies, I request all Member States to seize the opportunity presented by this General Assembly review. We can build on the achievements and the dynamism of the HLPF, which has been demonstrated over the first 5 years, to enhance support for the SDGs. The broad mandate equally of ECOSOC as a charter body, its adaptability to changing circumstances, and its ability to build system-wise coherence are attributes